Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Before watching the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. This video is about 10 ways to motivate yourself. So, let's get started. Number 1. Practice the 2-minute rule. The first way to motivate yourself when you're feeling like giving up is to start practicing the 2-minute rule. Now, physics was my worst subject in high school. But I do remember that a body in motion tends to stay in motion. That's literally all I remember. But the bottom line of that rule is that once something gets started, it's easier to keep going. It takes a phenomenal amount of effort to sit down and open another laptop screen. But if you just tell yourself you'll do it for 2 minutes, you can trick yourself into getting more work done than you ever thought was possible. Number 2. Create a list. So the next way to motivate yourself when you just don't want to keep working on that business is to create a list. No, not that kind of a list. A distractions list. One of the things that can so easily derail you as you get to work are the pesky little voices inside your head. These voices are saying everything. They're telling you to quit. Yes, I do recommend you go analog with this. Every time a thought comes in and starts to loop its way and win its way around your brain and distract you from the task at hand, pick up your pen, write it down, and move on. This has the added benefit of making sure that when you get thoughts in your brain that you do need to address, like take the laundry out of the dryer and so forth, you'll have a place to put down so that you can return to them and get them done later. Number 3. Put your phone on silent mode. The third way to motivate yourself when you're feeling like you have zero motivation left is to put your phone on silent. Here's when we get science why. The Journal of Experimental Psychology found that just hearing the vibration of an incoming message was enough to increase the likelihood that someone made a mistake at work. You're building a business, you can't afford careless mistakes that you can easily avoid. So avoid this one by putting your phone on silent. Number 4. Accept that you might be on day 2. My next tip for keeping yourself motivated is to accept that you might be on day 2. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, every journey has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Author, podcast host, and all-around human angel Brené Brown explains that middle is where things can get messy. Think about the last project you started. It's when the dream becomes reality, and you have to start figuring out how to make it work that a lot of us get discouraged. This is the day 2 that Brené Brown describes. Now, you can follow some of the tips on this list to get around it. But one of the best ways to get through this feeling of day 2 is to accept it. Number 5. Celebrate small wins. The next thing you've got to do to stay motivated in this process is to celebrate small wins. I love this tip. This tip is so important, and so often we forget to do this. It's still quite a lofty goal. What we neglect to celebrate are all the little things that we learn and accomplish along the way. And when we neglect to celebrate those small wins, we hurt our chances of reaching the big win. We feel like it's so far away, and we haven't done anything. When you celebrate small wins, you keep yourself motivated. So think back on this week or this month. Number 6. Know your chronotype. The next way to stay motivated is to know your chronotype. No, it has nothing to do with being a Scorpio. Your chronotype relates to when in the day you feel energized. In his book, The Power of When, clinical psychologist Michael Breus explains that knowing our chronotype can help us front-load or back-load the work in our day so that we do it when we're performing at our peak. This is a very science-why way of saying, get to know whether you're a morning person or an evening person. A lot of us will feel like we get our best work done either in the morning or maybe in the afternoon or maybe late at night. Just knowing this about yourself can be really powerful. Number 7. Schedule downtime. The next way to motivate yourself is to schedule downtime. I'm not being a softie here. Athletes will tell you that you cannot train 7 days a week. You'll expose yourself to a high risk of injury if you do. The body needs some time to recover, and the mind does too. Make sure those breaks count. If you're someone who has a hard time doing this, then drop it into your calendar, block off a portion of your day. Tell yourself that portion is not for working. All of the successful entrepreneurs I have interviewed still take time off. They don't spend hours every day watching Netflix. But they do it sometimes. Number 8. Learn something new. This next tip is kind of the opposite of what I just recommended. But it's a powerful tool for keeping yourself motivated because it plays a little psychological trick on yourself. The next tip to keep yourself motivated is to actually learn something new. Sometimes, you can take creative ideas that you learn in one field and apply them to business. And in fact, I would argue that that's what usually sets apart the mega successful entrepreneurs from people who make a couple of $1,000s with their online business. They're able to apply something they know from another field to do the field of entrepreneurship or e-commerce, and that's when they really see numbers go up. Number 9. Choose the right goal. Tip number 9 for staying motivated is to make sure you're choosing the right goal. Author and life coach Martha Beck explains that sometimes when we lose motivation, it's because we're pursuing the goals that are wrong for us. We have an essential self and a social self. But the fact of the matter is that if you choose a goal that's not aligned with your essential self, you could find yourself losing motivation more quickly. For example, maybe you want to build an online business, but you're someone who really loves talking to people, and that doesn't seem to fit with the image of someone who sits behind a computer building a business. Number 10. Motivational quote. The last tip is a motivational quote, and it's not the motivational quote that I originally intended to share. This is something that I find personally motivating. On the plains of hesitation lie the blackened bones of countless millions who at the dawn of victory lay down to rest, and in resting died. Luckily, e-commerce is not a life or death matter. However, this quote is a powerful reminder that so many people quit just before they're about to make it big. Don't be one of those people. I've got your back. And all of us here at Oberlo can't wait to see you succeed. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching.